Welcome to the Explainer. You know, when it comes to automation, it often feels like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either pay through the nose as your usage grows, or you hand over your precious data to someone else's servers. But today, we're looking at a company from Berlin called n8n that's offering a third option. And well, they're pretty much rewriting the rules of the game. So let's just jump right in. Have you ever set up an automation tool only to watch the bill just keep climbing? Or maybe you've had that nagging feeling in the back of your mind wondering, hey, where is my company's data actually going? If that sounds at all familiar, you're going to want to hear this. You have to remember, back in the 2010s, tools like Zapier were absolutely revolutionary. I mean, they made automation something that millions of people could actually use. But their success, ironically, created a whole new set of problems as users got more and more ambitious. People started hitting a wall, and it usually involved one of three big headaches. First, the cost. That whole paper task model sounds cheap at first, right? But as soon as you build something actually useful and complex, those costs can just skyrocket. Then there's data privacy. Every bit of your information has to go through their servers, which for a lot of companies is a total non-starter. And finally, customization? Forget it. You're stuck in their sandbox, playing by their rules. This is where the story takes a turn. A startup in Berlin saw these exact pain points and asked a really simple but powerful question. What if there was just a different way to do this? What if you built an automation platform on a completely different foundation? And their answer was n8n. Now, this isn't just another automation tool in a super crowded market. No, it's a fundamental rethinking of how all of this should work. It's designed from the ground up to give control, cost-effectiveness, and real customization back to you, the user. And here's where you can really see the difference. The old way charges you for every single little step. The n8n way? You pay per workflow, no matter how many steps are in it. Huge difference. The old way forces your data through their servers. With n8n, you can self-host, which means you have total control. And where the old way is a locked box, n8n is open source. They basically hand you the keys. So you might be wondering, how do they make money then? Well, it's through something called a fair code license. It's a really clever balance. You get all the freedom of open source. You can see the code, you can change it, you can use it. But there are just enough commercial restrictions to make sure the company stays healthy and can keep improving the product for everybody. And this all leads up to their core idea, which is summed up perfectly in their slogan. The goal is to give you the power to connect literally anything to everything else. It's a huge ambition, for sure, but that open, community-first approach is what actually makes it feel possible. Okay, so who is this actually built for? You might hear open source and immediately think, oh, that's just for coders. But the reality is way, way broader than that. It's for everyone from marketers to massive enterprise IT departments. And when you actually break down their user base, it's fascinating. It's almost an even split between four different groups. You've got non-coders, you've got developers, you've got small businesses, and you have big enterprise teams. Each of them makes up about a quarter of the pie, which just shows how flexible this thing really is. And what's really cool is why each group comes to n8n. A marketer might love the simple drag-and-drop builder for their reports. A developer, on the other hand, is drawn in by the fact that it's open source and totally hackable. A small business owner sees a super powerful tool without that massive price tag. And for a big company, that ability to self-host and control their own data, that's not just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. But just as this model is taking off, the whole world is shifting again. We're moving beyond these fixed, step-by-step workflows and into a new territory, the world of intelligent, AI-powered agents that can think for themselves. So what's the difference? Well, think of a workflow like a recipe. You have to write down every single step, in order. An AI agent is more like hiring a chef. You don't give them the recipe, you just give them a goal, like, make me a healthy dinner. And they use their skills and tools to figure out how to do it. And this is where n8n's hybrid model gets really, really cool. You don't have to choose between a dumb workflow and a smart agent. You use the workflow engine to build and control the agent. So you can set a trigger, You connect an AI node, that's the brain. You give it some tools like a weather API, tell it what you want, and boom, it executes a complex, personalized task. It's the best of both worlds. This workflow plus agent idea really carves out a unique spot for n8n in the market. It's not a pure AI platform like Diffy, and it's not a simple chatbot builder like Cozy. At its heart, n8n is still an automation engine, but it's one that can now use AI as just another incredibly powerful tool in its toolkit. Now, this whole innovative approach is way more than just a clever idea on a slide. The proof, as they say, is in the pudding, or in this case, the numbers. This is a real business model that's getting serious attention. Let's just follow the money for a second. Some of the biggest names in venture capital, including giants like Sequoia, have looked at this model and liked what they saw a lot. To date, they've poured in almost $80 million. And what does that kind of investment lead to? Well, in its last funding round, the company was valued at around $270 million. That puts it squarely on the path to becoming a new unicorn in this space. But for me, the most exciting numbers are about the ground level growth. This isn't just about big money, it's about people. We're talking over 230,000 active users, more than 400 integrations, and get this, almost 4,000 workflows built by the community, which means you pretty much never have to start from a blank page. You can see that acceleration so clearly when you look at their funding. It started with a pretty standard 1.5 million seed round back in 2020. A year later, it jumped to a 12 million Series A. And then, a massive 55 million euro round. That kind of rocket ship growth shows just how much confidence the market has in what they're doing. So what's the secret sauce here? If you ask the founder, Jan Oberhauser, he'll tell you it's not just about the tech. He says the community is the core DNA of the company and its single biggest competitive advantage. They're the ones making the platform more powerful every single day. At the end of the day, n8n is making a huge bet. They're betting that the future of automation doesn't belong to the companies that lock you in, but to the ones that empower you with open, flexible tools. And that leaves us with one big question to chew on, right? As AI gets woven into everything we do, who do we want in charge? A handful of giant, closed-off platforms? Or will we demand open ones that we can all see, trust, and even help build our